I mean, we always look up to that one person, right? We always want to be that one person. And I feel nowadays everybody wants to be that one person.
Taking that into consideration, and then how much social
yeah,
media means to them.
There's a
and
lot
how
of
private,
constantly checking up on other people.
what pages they follow and things like that. And then find a way to score that.
Because everybody wants to
Really give you that
want to get
How I would define social media is a series of networks that help people communicate and engage with each other. That's a very simplistic definition, but at its core, I think that connection is the main thing. Now, obviously, other things have spun off from social. You get content creation, you get brand engagement, you get advertising, you get, career possibilities that have come from it. But at its heart, when social was being developed, it was all about connecting people who otherwise would not be connected. Unfortunately, I think a lot of what you're hearing these days is kind of negative towards social, and a lot of it with good reason, to be completely honest. There's a lot of people who hide or pretend to be something on social that they're really not. I think that's obviously a big deal on Instagram right now, where people are trying to portray that they lead this incredibly extravagant life and they are just a normal person like everyone else. We've seen the rise of businesses that will rent out private airplanes for 5 minutes so you can take pictures for Instagram in a private airplane. I mean, there's all kinds of examples of that happening in real life. So, and we're all probably guilty to that to some extent, that we want to seem cooler than we really are.
We see like people with like unrealistic lives who are posting like the way they look and their bodies and things like that. And so in terms of that, that's also affecting how people perceive their bodies, and so you're constantly comparing yourself to someone else. There's a big focus on like how we respond to social media, but then social media has this kind of aspect of it where it has this predictive potential, right? And so some studies looking at social media behavior looks at, well, can we predict someone's personality based off of what they're posting? Extroverts tended to post about their life achievements, daily life activities and things like that. People who had low self-esteem also tended to post about their significant others more, and things like that. And so, it's not just the responses, but it's also being able to predict a lot of things. What you post on social media also can predict whether or not you're prone to being depressed or anxious. It seems like it's like an inevitable thing for us to do as humans, to kind of make those comparisons, because we ultimately want to be the best or want to be good.
Do you feel like people kind of put up only the good things and they put like a fake persona of what their life looks like?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you do that, do you think?
I do it, but not on purpose. You want to share the happy things in your life. Like if everyone was sharing the bad things, our Instagrams would be sad. The grand scheme of things, social media is brand new. It just started in the 2000s. It happened, society ran with it. They're like, this is awesome. And now we're starting to see people who are crazy. People getting like just obsessed with it. People are like I said, getting more like egotistical and like caring more about what other people think of them rather than what they think of each other themselves. And there's this whole like mental health push now because people are like, get off social media, I'm gonna do a social media cleanse, and people starting to really see the side effects. So I think this is all happening. So with too much of anything, it's a really bad thing.
What is too much social media? We don't really know. Is 2 hours a lot for someone versus like someone that spends 5 hours? We don't know where to make that line and draw that line where it becomes an addiction rather than just usage. Maybe it's not so much the amount of time you spend on social media, maybe it's just the way you respond to social media.
I decided to get rid of social media completely, and that just made me feel just alone with myself, and I could just not worry about the things that are going on in the world and just really just pay attention to the needs and the things that I need to work on rather than just make myself conform to, like, you know, things that are going on in the world. I was definitely obsessed with my image of social media, who I was portrayed as. Maybe I should present myself this way so it can make a certain theme of myself so people can think a certain way about me. And then I was also, you know, obsessed with, not obsessed, but more just intrigued and by who I'm following and what they're doing. And so I want to kind of be like them. I kind of want to do the things they're doing. And so that was making me not very unique because I was just trying to live my life to be exactly like them. Yeah. I'd be surfing through my social media app just completely wasting time, and then I could have easily been having a conversation with somebody about, you know, spreading the gospel or just like, hey, how's your day going type of thing, instead of just me just wasting my time just honestly swiping up and down, left and right, not too concerned or worried about things that are going on around me. You know, you're spending all your time looking at your phone instead of, you know, spending that time that you are with somebody to talk or to have a conversation with them. And so it could be negative and detrimental to your health by just, you know, looking down all the time and not opening your eyes to the things that are around you. Yeah.
There is a lot of pressure, I bet, between kids my age. Yes, everybody obviously is on the internet and social media, and if you're not like this specific one person or multiple people, you might get judged for it. And you are put to this standard usually where you need to be like this and that. And if not, then you're gonna get judged for it, which is sad, but it's reality. And I feel nowadays everybody wants to be that one person that's big on a social media platform or multiple, and they want to be like them. Just me being me, usually I get judged for it, but I've learned to kind of overcome that because it's what it is, you know. I don't want to be this mask on social media.
Social obviously plays a really important role in a lot of people's lives. I always like to remind students that they do have a pretty strong amount of agency when it comes to social media. You control who you follow, you control who you talk to, you control which platforms you're a part of. And for the most part, not always, but for the most part, you can control your experience on those platforms. And so I like to remind students, and I remind myself pretty frequently, if you're having a negative experience on a platform or on a network, stop and think, what can I do to make this situation better? I've had some of the coolest experiences in my life solely because of social media.
what I try to do is kind of cater my accounts towards more positivity. And so I follow positivity pages, pages that have like-minded things that I like, things that, you know, I find enjoyable.
Well, I'm back on social media. I've heard that it's keeping me more connected with people, especially since I'm going far away. Now I tend to post more pictures of me with my family, just so I can have these pictures in a platform, in like a folder type of thing, because I know people back in the old days had like photo albums and stuff like that, so I consider this my digital photo album, and so I can show my family and my kids someday.
I think there's a lot of social media platforms, and I think they're going to be growing every day in the amount of offerings that we have for social media. But I think that people are starting to wisen up.
It's everyday life now. It has been for the past how many years? It opens new opportunities for people.
I want to share work I've done. I want to share pictures I've taken that I really like to expand my portfolio.
It connects people. So if you are a photographer or videographer, for instance, you're able to put your artwork on this platform to show other people, and then that's how you get other artists to collaborate with you as well.
I want to be more creative and actually be more of who I am in person.
People, you know, find ways to kind of communicate better. People who typically don't have great social skills might be able to you know, speak and reach to more people.
Now it's definitely a purpose, like I have a purpose.
There is now much more of a possibility of being exposed to new ideas and new cultures and new ways of thinking than ever before.
I don't want to wear this mask where social media is covering who I am, and I'm different from who I am in real life.